So we start off the session here. We look down at ace deuce offsuit. Suited, I'd like a raise, but offsuit, I probably should just pitch this, but I decided to open it in the cutoff for $15. The two limpers ahead of me decided to call, so they limp called. So not sure what they have, but you figure, they probably don't have the strongest hands in the world. The flop comes king 10, what was it? King 10-5, King 10-4, King 10-4 with two clubs. So it gets checked to me. I decide to c-bet a little under half pot. I could easily have a king here into two other people, last to act. And I decide to c-bet, and he folds. The turn brings in a low card, a 5. So it gives me a wheel draw. So now I got a wheel draw. So King 10-4-5. When I pick up equity, typically I'll continuation bet. I'll keep betting because I picked up equity and because a lot of people will call very late. So, a lot of people call once on the flop and then they'll pitch their cards. If, they'll call with the 10, for example. And then when you bet again, they're just going to fold. They'll call once and then they'll fold. So this is profitable usually if you pick up equity to bet again. So I do that, but he min raises and it kind of throws me off. But because I have 7 outs, it is a little questionable. Am I getting the right price? It's close. 7 outs, one card to come. Probably not good enough considering he only has like another 150 with 200 behind. But I had decided to call his raise. And the river came an ace. And he goes all in. And the thing that's kind of interesting is this is the ace of clubs. So it brings in the flush, but it gives me top pair. And when he goes all in like this, I at the time could not figure out what the hell he has that he would just call the flop. Because you would think, okay, maybe he could have a flush draw, but then he min raised the turn. So I'm like, what did he min raise the turn with? Did he pick up a set on the turn? That makes sense. He'd have a small pocket pair pre, and then he hit a set, so now he's raising the turn for value. But then the flush comes in and he jams. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What I wasn't thinking about at the time was that the king was the one card that was not the club. The king 10-5 board, king 10-4 board, excuse me. The king was not the club. So king X of clubs makes a lot of sense. So he could easily have something like king X of clubs. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense that he could have something like that. So apparently he had king 5 of clubs. And it's not a hand I really expected or thought about just because of the fact that he called my raise with it. But I guess a lot of guys will limp if they're new players and they'll call anything a raise. They want to see a flop. And I should have just paid attention more to the fact that king was not the club. So that king X of clubs makes a lot of sense. Number one. Number two, if I don't think he's a good player, good players do not bluff in this spot. I could have a flush easily. I could have an ace easily. And he's jamming. He's not scared of the ace. So there's ace king on the board, right? What do they put you on when you raise most of the time pre-flop? Ace king. Bad players, they put you on ace king. There's ace king out there. And he's jamming into me. So it can't be a bluff. And that's what I was thinking at the time. It can't be a bluff, but I couldn't figure out what he had. So I made the call and he flipped over the nut flush. He had the king 5 of clubs. So unfortunately, yeah, I made a horrible call there. I should have realized that looks like he ripped for 240. I just should have, what was it? No, it was 150. Either way, I should not have called there. And that was a costly call. Should have known better, known he wasn't bluffing. Here I am pulling more money out. So here we are, literally 2 hands later against the same villain. And got Andy there too. We're in the other seat. I have ace 6 of clubs. There's a straddled pot, $10 all the way around, comes to me. And for some reason, I limped. This is horrible. I don't know why I would limp. I should always open this hand if I'm going to play it, especially in late position. But for some dumb reason, I decided to limp. And Andy made it 75. And there was another caller. and there's the three of us now to the flop. Now, Andy's known to sometimes squeeze. So when he squeezes here, I turn around and think that, oh, he could be squeezing with a lot of things. If I just raised pre-flop like I should have, and then he re-raised me, and then I'd have a better idea of what his range is. Versus if I, with a bunch of callers in there, he could be squeezing light. So I think he's a person that does that sometimes. He'll squeeze light to just take down the dead money. But I wouldn't have been in this position to begin with if I just done the right thing. So anyway, we check around to Andy. He bets $75, and we get the call in the early position, and it comes back around to me, and I go all in. The flop, by the way, that would be helpful to know, was the flop was king of clubs, 10 of clubs, three of diamonds. So I flopped enough flush draw, and I thought this was the right thing to do. Just go ahead and jam, try to get it in here. I have hopefully some fold equity. The guy who just flatted Andy, he just called, so he can't be that strong, although you never know. Andy could just be c betting. I have enough equity here and enough fold equity here, I believe, to go ahead and jam. So I like my jam here to try to take it down. Andy eventually does end up folding. I've jammed there for like 250 bucks around. Um, Andy does fold, so I think he was pretty light. I think he's calling me with the king for sure. But the guy who originally just called the $10 pre-flop and the straddle, and then just called Andy as well, he ended up calling, and he had king queen off. I asked if we want to run it twice. He said nope, just once. So we ran it once, and I bricked out. And so here we go, right off the bat, losing money again. Now we're down to two buy-ins, and I don't mind my play at all. I got to keep an eye on this guy who's just limp calling with strong hands and just post flop calling, and then he won't fold. So basically, he's a limp caller and he won't fold. A very recreational player. So when that happens, you just want to get it in with value versus him. So the next hand here, mistake, just pitch this hand pre-flop, but I ended up limping under the gun with ace four offsuit. This is just a leak. I should not even be in there. The next guy to act raises to $15. And what happens here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Virtually everybody called here. So there was like $90 in the pot. So you can see call, call, call. Well, there's a few calls. So I ended up calling. I really, again, I should just pitch this hand play flop, but I ended up calling. So I believe we had five callers there. It looked like four, but I thought we had five, like $90. The flop comes out Jack 3-5 rainbow. The flop comes out Jack 3-5 rainbow. And the initial, I checked to the razor, he bets $25 into 90. To me, that just seemed really weak. And I have an over and a gutter. So it just seemed weak to me, the bet sizing. I hadn't played with this kid before, but because that screamed weakness to me due to the bet sizing, I ended up raising to $100 to try taking it down. Thinking I could take it down, that he would just like c betting with ace king and he would fold. But what happened is something I didn't expect, which he went ahead and he jammed all in for another $100, about 110, something like that. I only had, he had more than that, but I only had about 110 behind. Now I called here and people went crazy, like, what are you doing calling? Well, the fact of the matter is, I get seven outs with two cards to come. All I need is about 3.5 to 1. I'm getting better than that, way better than that. So just strictly due to pot odds, assuming my ace is good and my gutter's good, I ended up calling. Turn was a queen, and the river, bink. The river gave me my wheel. I hit the straight. So everyone was like, oh, look at that. Well, how can you call it? This, said by me pre-flop. Now, post-flop, I like my play. I just thought he was weak. He obviously wasn't weak. And when he jammed over the top, I just didn't have a choice because I had seven outs. I figured my ace was good. Now, he could have aces, but so this next hand is nothing real exciting, but a little interesting. how it was played. I woke up with aces, which is nice to see after the poor start I've had. So it gets limped around to me. Couple of limpers. I turn around, I make it $20. There's a limp or two in there. I'll open up a little bigger. Has nothing to do with the strength of my hand. It has to do with the fact there's more dead money in there. And we get a call, and it ends up going heads up, I believe. No, we did get another call. Oh, we get multiple callers. Okay, so we got a number of callers in here. Flap comes up Jack 6-4 with two hearts, and he donks $50 into everybody else. Usually donking by better players, a lot of players, is a sign of weakness. That means there's something like on a draw or something. But this particular player, I think he just bets his hand. So I play a little tricky. I decided to just call. I think raising is just fine here. But I decided to play a little tricky, and he bets out $75. Again, a little weak. So I decide, okay, enough mussing around. I go all in um, for about, it was a 225. And he snap calls me. The river's a blank. And he had pocket queens, believe it or not. So he did not three bet me pre-flop. He just bet his hand. And then when the turn came, I guess he just wasn't too sure about his hand. So he bet, but he definitely wasn't folding to me if I raised. So, because he's seen me bluff before. So I ended up picking this one up. Just an interesting hand. Kind of, you got to keep mindful aware of the player types and how good players are. Now, just flatting with queens here and then donking into the pre-flop raiser, I think is all bad. It's just not good. Okay, this is a short little hand. Nothing too exciting, but I'm in late position. I raised with king of diamonds, eight of diamonds. Um, Probably should be in later position to do this, but I raised to 20. I get a number of callers, so we're looking at $100 to the flop. Jack 9 with one diamond. Not a great, not really great for my hand, but with two others, I might stab at this. With three others, I'm going to just check. So I ended up checking it all the way around. The turn was the another diamond, which was a three of diamonds. And when it gets checked to me again, I feel like this is a good spot to represent a jack. I picked up a flush draw. I picked up an over with a king. I mean, I've got outs if no one has a jack, if someone has just a pair that they might call me with. But this is exactly how I might play my hand, something like, if I had a jack, if I was slow playing something, I might possibly check this flop. So a lot of people would check trips here, check a boat, and then bet the turn. So when I pick up equity here and I feel like I can take it down, I stabbed at it and everyone folded. So this next one was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, my phone wasn't recording during this for some reason. So I'm just going to go through the hand and then you'll catch the end of it here. Basically, the guy Rich here to my left ended up straddling on the button to 15. We get multiple callers, so it comes around to me. Very next to act, immediately to the right of Rich, and I look down at pocket nines. I make it $75 because I want to thin the field a little and for value. He ends up calling, and I believe we get one other caller. Um, the flop comes 8-4-3 rainbow, and I bet 150 into 300. And he jammed all in for 350 more, and I have him covered. I mean, I have about the same amount of money, so really puts me in a pickle here. He could have flopped a set, but would he really jam if he had flopped a set? I'm not too sure about that. Seems like a lot of times people would more regularly, smooth call on the spot like this. Um, so he could have a draw, but it's a rainbow board. There is a straight draw out there. He could have a straight draw. And after thinking about it for a little bit and looking at him, I decided to make the call, and he said, good call. And he had 2-5 offsuit. So he ended up flopping a straight draw, and we ran it twice. And not surprising, as this session has been going, he wins the first run out. I win the second. And at least I got half of it back. But kind of a wide call by him. That's what happened on this one.
Players all in. I'll run it. I'm fine with it.
Twice?
Sure.
Twice.
I got 2 pair
How big are you 2 pair?
and a 5.
Trip 5s on the bottom. 5s and 4s. 10s and 4s. Shot pot. Take your money back. Take your money back.
Rich, we just
Trying to gamble. I
Get
told
there
you.
every
I ain't gonna
fucking
keep
time.
saying it over and over again.
gets there every time.
It's gonna be.